Welcome to Rising Tides Live. I'm your host, Shawn Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ media production. This is our Wednesday Rising Tides live show. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, please join us. This is an open call to entrepreneurs, business people. If you believe in storytelling, if you believe in technology, and if you believe in hospitality, this is your group. We have been meeting live since the Clubhouse days, so since 2021, every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time, wherever you are in the world. Today, we are going to be talking about getting involved. How do you get comfortable being uncomfortable? What is your process for getting involved? What is something that you have currently gotten involved in, something that you've been wanting to do, thinking about doing, and then you made that first uncomfortable step to start doing it, start chasing that good idea. Today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to go ahead and bring up our community. Kyle, Yano, Spencer, Dino, anybody that's watching or listening, please join us. You can go to betheshow.media/Rising Tides, and we will bring you up here on stage on StreamYard. I'll start with a quick story. Cali Barbecue Media, as everyone in this community knows, we go by the mantra, be the show, not the commercial. So we have been doing organic storytelling work since 2017, since I first launched Behind the Smoke podcast, which is now our digital hospitality podcast. So consecutively, every single week, without fail, producing podcast content, interviews with business owners, with restaurant leaders, with technology professionals since 2017. And it was only until recently did we start to get involved in something uncomfortable. That uncomfortable topic, that uncomfortable idea is commercials and advertising. Be the show, not the commercial. So we believe that storytelling, that truth telling is the most important work that you can do. We also believe that word of mouth marketing is the most powerful form of marketing. It has been since the beginning of time. Humans learn through lessons and stories. And when a human speaks the truth, that is when people pay attention. And because we've done so much great organic storytelling work with so many of our great restaurant technology partners, what we have learned is that it's not that we don't believe in commercials, and it's not that we don't believe in advertising. It's that we believe in shitty commercials. We don't believe in shitty commercials. We don't believe in shitty advertising. We believe in getting your products and services in front of the right audience. And what is incredible now, given all the technology that's at our fingertips, is that ad agencies no longer have to go and make a Super Bowl commercial and go pitch the local news, or go put an ad into a magazine, or go put an ad into a newspaper. There are so many different ad products that we don't even know of. And back to, the topic for today is getting involved. So this was a thesis that we had as leadership at Cali Barbecue Media, is that maybe we should start to do more paid media work. A lot of our clients started asking for ads for Meta, ads for Google, ads for YouTube from the customer truths that we were sharing. And because of that, what we said was, well, number one, what do we need to do? We need to ask for help. We didn't have the institutional knowledge within our team. So where did we go? We recruited and we hired a paid media expert, somebody that has lived in campaigns, that has lived in MetaSuite, that has lived in Google, that understands all of the intricacies. I cannot tell you guys how unbelievable the last 4 months have been from a learning standpoint. Having Claude, having ChatGPT, having Gemini, being able to do my own research, be able to interview. We had, I believe, Renz, who's my executive assistant, he went through and filtered 75 resumes for consideration. Of those 75 resumes, I interviewed personally at least 25. Of those 25 candidates, I found at least 7 of them that were worthy of leadership interviews, second round interviews. And of them, we finally got Billy, who's our new paid media expert. But in that process, it was uncomfortable. Like, that goes back to, today's topic is like, what are you doing for your business? What do you know you need to do that's uncomfortable? I didn't have time to do all those meetings, but every time I was in a meeting, I was learning about the paid media landscape. I was learning about the things that we already inherently do really well, but where could we help our clients get more restaurants to learn about their technology? And that's in paid media. So long story short, we hired Billy. Billy's on our team. We're starting to have lots of really interesting paid media conversations. We're going to be sharing those conversations as we always do. We build in public, but that is something that I've done recently. Cali Barbecue Media has done recently to get involved. Stay curious, get involved, ask for help. So getting involved is doing something uncomfortable, admitting that you don't know the answers, and then actually backing that up. So that's my story. I'm going to kick it over to Kyle, who's filling in for the amazing Mike Biseglia. Shout out to Biseglia. I hope you're enjoying your time with your family. We appreciate you. He's the leader that produces this Rising Tides live show every Wednesday. He also does Pitch the Tide on Fridays. So Kyle Pfluger, welcome to the community. You've been on since the Clubhouse days. I'm part of the Cali Barbecue Media team, but let's share a lesson. Number one, quickly, 60 seconds. Who are you and what are you working on? And then tell us a story about getting involved.
Yeah, I will say these are always the shoes that I'm most nervous to fill, are Mike Biseglia's. So thank you, Mike. Mike's a wizard. He does so much for us at Cali. So shout out to you, Mike. Hope you're enjoying the time. Quick intro on myself. I have been working with Shawn and the team at Cali Barbecue Media for a long, long time now. I have a background, spent a long time in the corporate world, at startups, at larger enterprise companies. Working sort of across the spectrum of software development, everything from the very beginnings of building software as a product manager and writing requirements to the tail end of that, actually testing the software that we build together. And these days I've set off on my own adventure, and that these days looks like a partnership with Shawn and the team. And my goal is to bring the knowledge that I was able to gain over those years to business owners of all type. I love the versatility of what I get to do. I get to work with all kinds of different interesting businesses, all in some ways trying to solve the same set of problems, just with specific lenses and a bit of nuance involved. So in terms of getting involved, I mean, I love the story you shared, Shawn. I mean, I've been in the weeds of this hiring process, and helping the company grow as well. So that's certainly something that is exciting, I think, for us collectively as a business to be embarking on. And I have a limited amount of experience in the paid ad worlds. It's something that I've learned a little bit about over the years, but I will say having Billy on board, it is we're drinking from the fire hose once again. There's so much to it. So I think one of the things recently, when I think about myself getting involved, my entire business, my entire career has really been built off of building websites for clients, and that's websites of all shapes and sizes. And Shawn and I have actually had some conversations recently about how the nature of website development has changed, and software in general, has changed so much. And AI is the primary catalyst to all of that. And so part of the conversation that we've been having is, how do we position websites in a way that they continue to maintain the value that they still possess, and help our clients, help business owners understand what the modern website needs to look like and what it needs to entail, and how we do that. And so that has been a sort of deep dive learning process for myself, and I would say more of a relearning process. The recipe for website development has more or less been pretty much the same for at least a couple decades now. Certainly some things have changed, but the ease with which just about anybody can go and spin up a website, by all definitions, is significantly different than it's been in the past, which is, I think, both a good and a bad thing. I think it opens up some doors, but there's a lot more to it than that. And so the way that I would say segues into getting involved is really me getting involved in this process of redefining what websites need to look like, and specifically what is the value that we are trying to extract from them. So to give an example of that, one of the things that we've been working on a lot lately is taking a single asset and turning it into a breadth of assets, because the ease with which we can do so these days has increased. So tactically, let's say we we build a great video for a client or we build a great website for a client, how do we take that asset and then turn that into several other things, such as social media content? We take that video and we build an entire case study, or as we like to call them, truth studies. Build an entire truth study around that concept. And so it's been a real relearning process of really having to get involved in this website development world in a way where I feel like I haven't had to relearn things as much as I have in reframe the value of the work that I do, and think about what that looks like for the future, and how do I continue to build my career and bring value to the work that I've spent the last 20 years developing. What does that look like going into the future? So I think a lot of people, especially in the industry and the type of work that I do, are probably having a similar conversation with themselves. Like, what does my job look like in a few years? I think that's a normal thing for a lot of us to be asking these days. So just learning and getting involved in a way where I can be a student for I think the first time in a long time in the capacity that I have now. So
Awesome. Appreciate it, Kyle. Always love when you're able to join the Rising Tides. Just a reminder, we've got a Slack channel for the Rising Tides community. We have a LinkedIn group chat. We have an Instagram group chat. If you guys want to join any of those, go ahead and shoot me a DM on LinkedIn or Instagram at Shawn P. Walchef. I will add you to those. Yano, who are you? What are you working on? And give us a story about getting involved, the uncomfortable step of doing the thing you know you should do, but actually executing. Go for it.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So happy to be here. One of my favorite times of the week. So my name's Yano Dovi. I am a operating partner for a restaurant in Long Beach, California called The Attic. We have been involved in a ton of different things within our community, and it's been fantastic. And I think I've got two. I'll try to keep them short. Two stories. One of the things before this career or before running restaurants, I was a touring professional for heavy metal and rock and roll and punk rock and whatnot. So I got to tour the world. I was started off in vans selling T-shirts first tour I did. I worked 6 weeks and I got paid $200. So that's the start of it. That's the crux. And then when I was ending, I was in control of multiple buses and touring with massive outfits, whether it was Ozfest or Warped Tour or whatnot. And there was always something really interesting where I'd be on stage and be a couple years in, you wouldn't really think much about what you were doing, but then there'd be some kids in the front row that were like, dude, how do I do this? Like, how do I get to where what do you do? Like, I'm tearing down my band and Slipknot is setting up after us. And they're just like, their minds are blown. Like, how does this person do this? And I just told them, get in the van. Like, just get in the van, find a band, just get in the van, just start, like it doesn't matter. You can start from literally it's just putting one foot in front of the other. Jocko Willick, who's some of you guys might know him. He's ex Marine and self-help business kind of guru. A lot of the times he just says, just start walking. Just start walking, one foot in front of the other, and you just have to start doing something. Right now, I'm building something in the background that's related around media, and it's been really intimidating, and it's been really kind of scary. And I'd say that one of the first things you got to do is you just got to start. You just got to show up. You just got to start doing things that are uncomfortable. And I love the kind of recurring thing that that Shawn, you kind of always kind of put forth with this, because I came up to you about a year and a half ago stating something at a conference, one of my very first restaurant shows after 20 years of being in the industry, and you were like, just post it, text me when you do it. And I was like, well, that seems pretty easy. I might as well just do that, right? Get in the van, one step from front of the other, just start walking, just post, just be uncomfortable. And I think sometimes with a lot of us that either run organizations or we've been doing something for a long time, it's that idea of being a beginner and that idea of kind of like failing gently, or like having some sort of judgment, not only from yourself, but other people around you, for some reason is this like crippling thing, but it really doesn't matter. Like just kind of get it going. So yeah. So, I mean, it started from you kind of telling me that aspect after me thinking about it for a long time and making tons of videos and thinking they were really dumb, to now I've got about, I think, 40 or so interviews from the last year kind of locked up, ready to go and get to start publishing and get them out, and then all there left is to do is promote, bro. And then we'll see each other on the other side.
Yano, absolutely love that. Get in the van is a just great story, great lesson. And I mean, we learn through lessons and stories. That's why we do this show. It's about quantity, speed, and consistency that will eventually equal the quality that is preventing all of us from doing the uncomfortable thing. It was weird. Like, I was speaking at the California Restaurant Show on Monday, and I remember the first time going to the California Restaurant Show, and I was so nervous about making sure my deck was right and making sure what I said was right and making sure that my presentation was right. And I see Robert has joined us, and he was gracious to invite me to speak at Mertech in Las Vegas. That was one of my first industry speaking events, and there you go. You actually got some great content from that. I appreciate that. We had Scott and Yano, part of the Rising Tide community, and Mike Ungaro. We were all up there. But the whole point is get in the van. Like, put yourself out there, fill out the speaker application, tell people you have a point of view, what you do matters, what you want matters. And what's the worst they're going to say? No. Then there's another event you can go to. And it's like, all you need is one person. You don't even need anybody. You're like, that's the craziest with smartphone storytelling. You can literally turn on your phone and go live and be talking to one other human being. And that's all you need is one. Everyone worries about, oh, well, nobody's watching. There's only 70 views, or it only got 416 views or engagement. You're like, who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit? Like, from this live show that we do, I mean, I've had some of my closest friends in the industry literally because, I mean, Troy Hooper, I met him on Clubhouse. Jason Berkowitz, met him on Clubhouse. And like, these are some of the closest friends, all of you that are on this call. Like, we just show up. We just get in the van. Julia, speaking of showing up, Julia's always showing up, crushing it. If you're not following her on social, she is one of my favorite restaurant storytellers. Julia, thank you for being here. Who are you? What are you working on? And tell us a story about getting involved and getting uncomfortable and getting involved. Go for it.
Yeah. Julia Tinajero. I have one restaurant, Concord, North Carolina, Italian American. But yeah, getting involved, that's basically been what I've been doing for the past a little bit more than a year now, just making that my mission to put myself out there. We get comfortable being uncomfortable. Our business we've been in business for almost 10 years, but in the past year and a half, definitely has an explosion. And I think it had everything to do with putting myself out there. And like Shawn said, like I was on his podcast a few months ago, and I think I said something along the lines of, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, you're going to get a few views on your video, and then you're just going to make another video. So why not just do it? Why not just put yourself out there? Why not get involved? I've really always been that way, though. Like, I was a wedding photographer for 11 years before owning a restaurant for 10 years now, and I always just wanted to be involved. I reaching out to the small groups, making small groups of my own, just to have a community, people to bounce ideas off of. And then same thing with the restaurant. I'm always looking for other people in the industry to collaborate with and just chat with, to know that you're not alone in doing this. And then it just led to so many other things. People from all over the place finding our small little restaurant. So yeah, working on staying involved now, and a lot of other things behind the scenes.
I would love, for those that don't know, can you tell them mozzarella stick story?
My mega mozzarella.
Yes.
Well, what's the story? I don't know, other than it.
Well, the story is you don't serve it on the menu. You only serve it through social.
Well, I used to do that, but people pressured me.
You folded.
I did. It was a secret menu item for probably a solid 8 months, and you only got it if you knew about it. Like, they came and be like, "Hey, can I get that 1 pound mozzarella stick?" I'm like, yeah. And now it's on the menu. But a few things started like that, and it's pretty cool to have people follow you that intently that they can come in and be like, "Hey, I know it's not on your menu, but I saw this on your TikTok, saw this on Instagram." But yeah, that one went insane. The chicken Caesar wrap went insane. And Who knew? Who knew an Italian restaurant would go viral for a chicken Caesar wrap? But here we are.
Julia, I always appreciate you taking the time, joining us during shifts in the manager closet. Sometimes, like it's awesome. It's so refreshing to have you part of the community. Scott Kleckner, Mike is yours. What are you working on? And tell us a story about getting involved. Go for it.
Hello, everybody. Scott Kleckner, owner of Olivewood Pizza, Southern California's premier wood-fired catering company. First of all, I'll say it was awesome seeing you, Shawn, and Yano, and Michael, and others at the California Restaurant Show. Unlike that day when I stepped away from the business, I'm right smack in the middle of it in a parking lot, dodging cars and trucks before I light a fire here. Probably my favorite story of getting involved led to my longest position ever, which is a charity board position. Well, I've had like a million jobs in my life. I go back to kind of when I started my job with Patina. I was overseeing the downtown Disney restaurants, kind of making the rounds in my first week, and I get an emergency call to one of my restaurants, and it was from my very Italian general manager who was telling these guests they could not take the leftover food home with them. And I went over there, and it was actually a charity organization that used to be called Waste Not OC. Their mission was recovering wholesome leftover food and repurposing it to feed people that were food insecure. Not only did I make sure they got to take their food home, I then met with Disneyland about their then policy that no food was able to leave the premises from events. That then led to changing Disney policy. We became a very big donator, both on the Disney end and all the restaurants there. And skip ahead now, almost 15 years later, we've grown into Abound Food Care, which basically helps every municipality, businesses, large grocery chains, food banks, make sure that the wholesome leftover food from grocery stores and restaurants goes to feed the need, which is in a very, Shawn, we kind of detoured in Orange County a little bit. 1 in 5 children are food insecure in Orange County, one of the wealthiest communities in America, and at least 1 in 5 kids don't have school. If there isn't school, they don't have food. And so that's been something where it became, okay, let's make this one thing right, then let's make the system right, then how can I get involved? And now I'm proud to say that we're advising municipalities, businesses, food banks all over the country, and have literally contributed millions and millions of meals every year to people that otherwise would not have had them.
What an incredible good story, Scott. That is.
I hope I didn't freeze during that.
No, that was absolutely amazing. I mean, that's you get in the van and you see what happened.
I may have.
No, you didn't. You're all
You
good,
guys
man.
still there?
Yeah, we're here. We're here. Scott, that was amazing. Can you hear us? You went through the whole thing. We got you. We lost him. It's all recorded, Scott. Spencer, you're up. Go for it.
Hey, it's been a while. Good to see everybody.
Great to see you, Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer Michael, backuphouse.io. We help restaurants find the right technology. So if you're an independent restaurant looking for tech, talk to us. Well, I love helping out small independents who don't know where to go, or maybe need a little help. I think we got to be a little bit careful about who we ask to get in the van at times, though. That might be taken with, there's got to be a significant amount of context around. Hey, get in the van. Come on here. No, I'm good. I'm good with the van. It's all right. But I love the message. Just do it. Get off the couch and do it. And I think that, for myself, I've been put into a role where I've got multiple speaking engagements that I'm now doing, which is something that I've found out that I wanted to do by being thrust into it at when I was working for a previous company at an SKO. If you don't know what an SKO is, it's a sales kickoff. It's usually, and this is a large company. We went down to Florida, multiple people from all across U.S. and Canada, the UK, hundreds of salespeople. And so if you've worked for any of these corporate sales or these large corporations, the sales team is work hard, party hard kind of mentality. And definitely that was the mentality of these sales kickoffs. It was a wild time. And it was in January because you're kicking off for the year. So New Year's Eve, the CEO, who was a massive workaholic, which is good and bad, sent a message out to everybody saying, we are doing a team contest about who can do the best pitch for one of the products in our line, one of the software products that we sold. And you're going to be put in a team, and I'm randomizing everything. You're going to be with a team across all different areas of the country. You're going to have a team captain that's going to be one of our sales VPs, and they're going to dictate who is going to go up on stage and present. And it was different levels of, you'd be in groups in front of a couple of the executives and people that are, trying to choose who's going to move to the next round. There were 2 rounds. It was like a tournament style. I got up and pitched on the Zoom call that we were before we flew down to Florida. And then the sales VP was, Spencer, you did a great job. I think you're going to be one of our guys. So it was me and another guy pitching this. And we got to the finals. And so it was down. We went from, I think there were 25, 28 teams, something like that, down to the final 3. And this is now on the main stage with the screen of yourself walking in behind with the, your Britney Spears microphone in your ear. And all the executives, including the CEO and every single salesperson that you just beat out to get to that position. And the contest was for real money. This is for a kicker on your commission, not just mine, but my entire team. So pressure was on. There's a significant amount of money on the line to do well. We end up finishing 3rd, which, I still argue we probably, the first place team definitely deserved it. I thought we were 2nd best. But through that process and the pressure cooker that was, and going through it and then understanding that I enjoy this. People don't like public speaking. I was scared to death going up on that stage. I was scared to death the 2nd round when I'm in front of, at that point was like the 2nd in charge of the company. And now I'm in front of the CEO and everybody else. And just your heart rate is going through the roof. And I'm just, shaking like this as I get up there. And I basically turned off any thoughts and went, I'm going, here we go. And I was walking up and down that stage with confidence and just delivered the message. And since that moment, I've been, I think there's a value to this. And this is something that I can start to do again. And now when I found back to the restaurant industry, I was looking for moments to be able to, I'd love to get on stage and talk. I think I can do that. And in that, doing that, hone my craft, because it is a craft to be able to do public speaking. And I'm understanding that as I go back and watch, I'm like, oh my goodness, I fumbled there. I should have said that differently. I could have paced that differently. And I could have organized my thoughts better in that area. And to hone my craft in that. So I am ready to say yes to anything that says, hey, do you want to come up and talk about something? 100%. Yeah, I will. I'll do it. No problem. I'll get in the van, drive me there and get me up on stage. So that was, it was forced upon me with this insane tournament style contest that we had at this SKO, but ended up being the best thing for me, I think, because I understand I got something I can give, and it's a matter of just taking off the training wheels and go and get it done.
Oh, it was a really good story, Spencer. Really, really good. Appreciate that. Yeah. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions, and it's not the creepy van. Thank you for pointing that out. Don't get into the creepy van.
There's windows.
Get into a trusted van.
It's a lovely shade of taupe, and it's
Robert, thank you for being here. Tell us what are you working on, and tell us a story about getting involved. Go for it.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm Robert Firpo Capiello. I'm a content strategist. I work with media brands, technology companies, and foundations to basically help them say what they do and why that matters. And I'm also an independent journalist. I'm the former editor-in-chief of Arthur Fromer's Budget Travel magazine and Hospitality Technology magazine, which is how I first met Shawn. He made reference to one of the conferences that we did. So I recently went independent earlier this year, and even though I had a ton of experience, like 100 appearances on live television, conference stages, etc., I had myself in a box, and I'll explain. joining this community, literally reaching out to Mike and Shawn and saying, I've got a topic I wanna co-host, was a huge leap for me in getting involved in a different way. I had sort of been like, to put it bluntly, whether it's independently, as I'm a theater artist and a singer-songwriter, I'm the boss there, right? Not in the Bruce sense, but I'm the boss of that operation. At the 2 magazines I ran, I was the boss. So I kind of had to say, like, okay, you're out of the nest now. You either fly or you hit the ground. And so, Shawn, of course, I remembered your slogan, "Be the show." And nobody wants to hear me on LinkedIn or hear saying, like, please hire me, or please hire me, work with me as a consultant or whatever. They want value. And so that inspired me to reach out to Mike and Shawn. And I co-hosted a few weeks ago, had a blast. And I'm still getting, comments, people coming to me, like, I saw what you did, the questions you answered. So that was really good for me. So in some ways, my message is, you're never too experienced to feel somewhat uncomfortable about taking another step. I've been in the business a few decades, but I experienced that weird kind of like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. So I do have media training. Somebody mentioned like learning to do public speaking. I'm like happy to, and I'm not talking about a paid thing. I'm happy to like jump on the phone and like give media training 101 to anybody who wants it. It's basically what we're all doing here, I think, which is start with the most important thing, then back up and explain like what it is get people excited first. So that's about all I wanted to say today. Some days I really join to listen, but I do love being on stage and contributing to this. Thanks for having me again.
We appreciate you, Robert, and it's just amazing the world that we live in, from audio, video, words, and images, and thinking about like what modern media is and what's modern storytelling. There's so many different places that you can publish and get distributed. Like, you don't need to pay any money to start a YouTube channel. You can start a YouTube channel. Like, it's very minimal cost to start a podcast. It's very minimal cost to open up an Instagram app and go live on Instagram. But like, it's the consistency, and it goes back to the fear. We think that everyone's doing it when in fact the numbers are very small. The numbers are very small of the people that try it and then try it again and then try it again and again, and then get from 40 podcasts to 100 podcasts and get, we published for 5 years as a media company without getting any revenue. That was just me chasing a crazy idea that there were owners, operators, business people, storytellers, technology people on the internet, and there was a community. Like, a restaurant in San Diego is the same as a restaurant in North Carolina, is the same as a restaurant in Toronto, is the same as a restaurant in Bulgaria. We're all running the same business. And whether it's 2026 or back when we opened in 2008, like, the problems are all the same. I had an incredible CEO. He's been in business for 30 years. They have 32 locations, Plucker's Wing Bar in Texas. And I was talking to him yesterday about the evolution of technology. And he's like, my problems are the same today that I had 30 years ago when I opened up the wing business. We're having conversations about staff, and we're having conversations about hospitality, and we're having conversations about responsiveness, and those things will not change. And more importantly, we have the opportunity to share how are we all solving those problems, which is why we do these shows. Let's go ahead and do tip, takeaway, homework assignment. I was going to get Dean up here. I think Dean's having some internet issues. Dean, if you make it back up on stage, we always love to have you share. Kyle, what's your tip, takeaway, homework assignment?
Yeah, good conversation today. Always a pleasure when I get to join these. I love hearing all the insights from folks, all the different perspectives. What a valuable thing. So, I'm a big fan of, when we think about involvement, finding the thing that you can be passionate about. Coming from the story that I shared of, what website design and development is something that I've been passionate about for a long time, something I have built a career on. And I think when you have that passion and you lean into a sort of a never-ending quest for learning, and staying at the forefront, and leaning on the people around you to help you be better. Shawn's a great example of that, of someone that that I work with on a daily basis that helps me be better, that pushes me to be better. And you know, it has a compound effect in the form of, not only does the direct feedback or that relationship make me better because of the relationship, but it makes me want to make myself better for myself as well, and improve at the things that I do. So keeping that quest front and center to never stop learning. That's my tip for this week.
Awesome. Dean LeBay, how about you share a story about getting involved, Dean LeBay?
Well, I'm trying to make sure, you know, I'm using my iPhone, and about the time somebody starts to say something interesting, I was listening to Spencer, it blocks me out. I can't hear it, so I had to jump back in. But, you know, talking about getting involved, you know, real quick story, you know, I'm a little bit older, but back in the day, when you were selling products, you always made a label and put your label on it so people would know where they bought it from, okay? And that was intensive. It didn't sound like a big deal, but you want to keep your name in front of people. And just like you were saying, Shawn, today, all this stuff is free. Now, talking about getting involved, in my particular case, I didn't have a choice. I had to do something. I was at a point in my life. My life was beautiful, 57 years old. I had everything, had a book of business. If I need to make a car payment, I just picked up the phone, called one of my customers and said, you know, hey, I got a stove on sale, you know, whatever. And then that all got taken away from me. And I basically, what happened was it all got taken away. And I was at a point in my life, I was on LinkedIn. I couldn't move, but I could still talk. So I thought, well, maybe I'll get a job, you know, smiling and dialing, selling stuff. And I met some people on LinkedIn, and one of the people I met was a lady named Jen Allen, and she talks about cost of inaction. And she was talking about it in a business sense, and I reflected it into a personal sense. The cost of inaction, if I didn't do something, I was going to stay in that nursing home. I was never going to leave. And I'm going to be honest with you, it scared me. It scared me so bad that I was within 24, 36 hours of signing that piece of paper where they keep you. They keep you they keep you till they carry you out in a black bag. And you know, I made a decision that's not what I was going to do. And I did that because of this group. This group told me not to give up. Now, I will everybody I talk to, and I repost it every week. This is my community. This is where I came to find hope and got going forward. Now, that's been 5 years ago, Shawn, something like that. Anyway, this is where I need to be. And talking about getting involved, you know, what's the worst that can happen? Don't be like me and wait till you don't have a choice. You know, right now you have a choice whether or not you want to get involved. You know, you can do something, and if you fall down, the thing is, this community will help pick you back up and get you going again. That's the beauty of this community. It's, you know, when I saw Spencer at the NRA, man, shit, I love seeing people in real life. You know, I'm in New Orleans. It's a great place. And what am I working on? I'm working on trying to get some people here in New Orleans, like a group that we have right here. I'm working on things that bring our community together, because I promise you, the people when this is over with and you're walking down the street, you have no idea what people's going through. And I was able to, now this was before we were on video and live, back on Clubhouse, I was able to talk and say whatever I wanted to say, because I did, you know, I broke down a couple of times because I didn't want people to see me crying, because really, seriously, I didn't know I didn't know what the next step was. And, you know, Shawn and the group, all the old guys, they said, you know, just don't give up. And that's why I show up every week. I show up because I want to be there for somebody else that was there for me, like Shawn and the rest of the group has been. Thanks, Shawn. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Dean. You're inspiration to the group and to anybody lucky enough to know you. Yano, go for it. Tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yeah, I think get involved not only with the thing that you want to do, but also with people that are going to push you, and people that you kind of have to look in the eye and say that you're either doing it or you're not doing it, and someone's going to tell you to do it, you know. So hey, even getting involved with this group, Fantastic. I couldn't agree with you more, Dean. You're the OG, and I'm fresh to the scene. But it's refreshing, man. A lot of times I think we get, especially when you're stuck in like restaurants and you're stuck in your bubble, and so many of us, we are in tuned to having these kind of like dopamine releasing things, right? You have this task you complete, and then you start falling into this thing. You do it over and over and over again. You take a step back and you look at yourself about like, okay, how can I do something else? Well, since I'm so absorbed into this one thing, how do I shift to get out of it? And sometimes you have to, change your friend group. You got to change your morning routine. You got to change your night routine. You got to change so many different things, knowing that the future is what you want. And right now is the thing that's feeding into that future, so getting that idea set and getting involved in it. I mean, like, it's the more that people are talking about, the more that I'm hearing about it. It's just like you're getting involved with not just one thing, but multiple small things to get yourself into that process. So yeah, mine's just continue showing up and continue being told that it's the right idea and the right thing. So thank you all, and you'll be seeing some stuff soon.
Appreciate it, Yano. Robert, go for it. Tip, takeaway, homework assignment. Thanks for being here.
It's a quick one. I'd say make discomfort a habit. It's not a big life-changing thing once a year to do the thing you're scared of. Identify on a daily basis. Then it becomes a muscle. And it's like, you know what? This is where learning happens. And teachers, I didn't make that up. Plato probably said that. And I know therapists say it all the time. It's in discomfort where you learn. And that would be my quick bit of homework.
Appreciate it, Robert. Spencer, go for it.
That is great advice, Robert. And it was great to see you as well, Dean, at NRA. It was a great time. I would say, never be afraid to ask for help is one piece. Definitely. I know, Shawn, that you talk about that. Ask for help. I love when people ask me for help. I love to, if it's something that I know about that they need to know better, like it brings me joy. So most people are going to want to provide you with assistance and guidance. And then sometimes you got to bet on yourself and take that leap of faith that, I don't know if what's going to be on the other side, but I'm going to bet on the fact that I'm going to see myself through this, with help of others and such, and just bet on your ability to do it.
Amazing. I'll leave with a quick story about my grandfather. So I always say he taught me, stay curious, get involved, ask for help. The getting involved step was something that was so difficult for me to understand what he was talking about. And I never met my father. So my grandfather, he raised me. I was very fortunate. He cared about education. He put me through private education. But I remember growing up in elementary school, middle school, I would come back home and my grandfather would ask me a question. He'd go, Shawn, are you sitting in front of the class? Grandpa, what are you talking about? Like, I don't sit in front of the class. I sit in the back. I sit with my friends. They're in the back. Like, when I go, I pick where I'm going to sit. And then in high school, Shawn, are you sitting in front of the class? And I'm like, no, Grandpa, like I'm on the football team. I'm hanging out with my buddies. They're in the back of the class. I'm like, I don't understand why he keeps asking me this question. College, Shawn, are you sitting in front of the class? And I'm like, Grandpa, I don't understand. And it took me so long to realize that the reason he wanted me to sit in front of the class is because he wanted me to get involved. He wanted me as close to the source of truth as possible. The professor in the class, the teacher in the class. When we went and we would travel and we'd go to these amazing cathedrals and architectural museums, he would always be next to the tour guide. He always wanted to be next to the source of truth to ask the question, to get involved. Whenever we're all on a big panel Spencer, you're talking about SKO. SKO, there's thousands of employees. You have the opportunity to ask the CEO. There's only 6 people or 3 people that choose to raise their hand and ask the question. And it's like, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, do the uncomfortable thing and challenge yourself to ask the question. Sit in the front row, do the uncomfortable thing, get into the safe van, do the work, go with the band, do the thing. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, Yano. Thank you, Kyle, for producing. Dean, Robert, Spencer, always awesome. We appreciate it. And Friday, we're doing Pitch the Tide, which is owners and operators giving feedback to technology companies. Grub Lab is going to be up. They sell solutions for restaurants to take care of kids. is one of our most exciting companies because we don't talk about kids and family dining enough in the restaurant space. Grub Lab is doing some really cool things, so we will put them through the ringer on Friday. Kyle, thank you for producing. We appreciate you guys. Stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next episode. And that's a wrap. Kyle on the ones and twos.